and the wary stance of a dog that had strayed into someone else's territory. It was then she realised that love doesn't just blind. It renders everything irrelevant except the one object of its affections. Her father had lied. There was nothing in the least handsome or well-favoured about Mr. Knepp. Bird paused, balanced on tiptoes, as if she were about to cross a physical line into the room, hoping somehow that time might re-spool and she might find herself back outside the parlour door.
"Mary Elizabeth?"
her father said, using her formal name and beckoning her in. Bird curtsied, as was polite, and drew herself back to upright. She was robbed of words. That father could have thought Mr. Knepp a suitable match had poleaxed her. She stole a glance behind her, where Suki, still hovering by the door, was rigid, eyes fixed on the newcomer.
"Miss Carpenter."
Mr. Knepp made a brief nod of acknowledgement in her direction, as one hand unbuttoned and rebuttoned his coat. Should she speak? She had no idea what to say. She had the impression that she'd somehow stepped into the wrong room. She cast desperately about the chamber, hoping her father would break the awkward tension.
"Mr. Knepp's livery business is one of the busiest in London,"
father said, his hand plucking at the curls of his careful coiffure. As if the business made up for everything.
"Farringdon and Knepp, hackney and horse hire and livery."
"It's not a bad little business," Mr. Knepp replied. "Pays its way." Bird was still taking this in. Horse hire? Well, at least she could ride. She heard little of her father's pleasantries, until he turned towards her again.
"And her height suits you very well, you being—"
Her father stopped and waved his hands vaguely. Short. She'd be taller than him in patterns.
"Can she manage a budget, staff and so forth?"
Mr. Knepp barely even looked at her. Bird stepped forward. "I do all my father's tallies, and I—"
"Oh, yes, she can do wonders with pastry,"
father said, cutting her off as usual. Wonders with pastry? She clamped her mouth shut. What an inane recommendation, as if she had no sensible virtues at all. Father turned to face her and mouthed,
"He's a good prospect."
Their guest saw it, and turned away, as Bird felt her face flame. Aloud, father said,
"What do you think, eh?"
As if she could answer, with him standing right there. She quelled her seething emotion.
"Speak up,"
her father prompted. No words came. She knew what father wanted. If she was to accept this man, the unspoken tension that plagued their house, the icy sharpness between Bird and father's new wife Dorcas, would be gone. He would be able to breathe easily again. He was eager for his life of unrestrained passion, and Bird wanted to please him, but this man? Still, she hesitated, but knew it would be grossly impolite, and beneath her schooling and upbringing to reject the man openly. "Did you have far to come, Mr. Knepp?" she said, finally managing a conversation.
"Smithfield," he replied, "near St. Bartholomew's."
She nodded. Her head bobbed up and down foolishly as she sought for something else to say. In the ensuing silence, Mr. Knepp gripped his hat in front of his chest as she grew hotter and more flushed, uncertain where to look without catching his eye. She searched her mind for something positive. He had nice hair, she thought. Good, thick hair. It was the only thing she could see to recommend him. At the same time, the thought came that she didn't want to be Mrs. Knepp. Bird Knepp? The name sounded sharp, ridiculous. But of course, he wouldn't call her by her mother's over-familiar nickname. He'd call her Mary Elizabeth, as Dorcas did. A rustle of taffeta. As if summoned by her thoughts, Dorcas stepped forward from the open door. She was a pale, buxom woman, laced tight into her bodice, so her white chest bulged over it, reminding Bird of milk boiling over a pan. Her pale curls were stiff with sugar water, and her prominent, over-innocent eyes made her appear like a small lapdog. Bird stepped out of her path, glad of the diversion.
"Is the deal not settled yet?"
A fan tapped impatiently against Dorcas's thigh.
"Another 5?"